Coconut yogurt is so beautiful. Honestly, you have no excuse to be having that yucky, sugar-filled, preservative-filled dairy yogurt. It's just really bad stuff. And coconut yogurt, when it's fermented, has just as many good bacteria in it as traditional yogurt. So all we need for this is 2 young coconuts, which you can get from your supermarket or your local organic store. We need a mason jar and some probiotic capsules. We're going to use 2 of these. So to open up a coconut, we simply grab a cleaver and shave down the top. Okay. So now that we've shaved down the top, you can see that the nut is nicely exposed. And we've got 3 lines running down the sides. And just choose the longest line. And just with the edge of your cleaver, you want to give it a good whack. And with the liquid inside, all you want to do is just grab a jug, a glass jar, and pour that water out. Now with the meat, I'm simply going to grab a spoon and scoop out the meat from inside the coconut. So it's quite old, this coconut, so it's quite firm. Okay. You can see how if you can get the meat out in one hit, it makes things a little bit easier. But you can probably see here that the meat's covered in a little bit of shell. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give this a bit of a wash under the sink, under the tap, and just scrape off the hardened black shell there. So now that we've got the 2 coconuts open and we've got the flesh out from both of the coconuts and we've set aside the water, we're just going to chop these up, just roughly chopped, because these are going to go in the blender. Coconut is just such a wonderful, wonderful thing to have. It's really great for balancing electrolytes, it's super hydrating, loaded with good fats, medium chain fatty acids, helps your body burn fat. What's not to love? So now we're just going to add a little bit of coconut water. Now not too much, because we want the yogurt to be a nice consistency. Now if you want your yogurt really runny, by all means add more water. If you want it to be creamy, then just be a little bit conservative. Just give that a whiz. Okay, I just want to show you how that's looking now. So you can see how lovely and creamy that's getting, and it's really nice and smooth. This is where we're going to add in our probiotic capsules. So we'll just open up the capsules and tip that in. And this will kickstart the culturing process. I'm just going to give that another little whiz just to combine those capsules into the mix. Alright, so now that that's done, just simply pour that into a clean, sterilised mason jar. Look at that creamy goodness. And a really good idea is to find somewhere warm to put this, so it can really help kickstart that good bacteria into action and speed up that culturing process. So what I like to do with this is actually pop this next to my dehydrator, because the dehydrator is always usually on. If not, you can actually put this in the dehydrator at about 30 degrees Celsius, and that will actually reduce the culturing time by quite a lot. You'll know when it's starting to culture. It'll actually increase by volume a little bit, and you'll get lots of bubbles coming up the sides of the jar. So I'm going to pop this beside my dehydrator right now because that's going, and we'll come back to this in about 8 hours. You can leave it for longer. The longer you leave it, again, the more tart the flavour, which I quite like. I like it really sour, so we may even leave that for maybe 10-12 hours. We'll just keep checking. This is our fermented coconut yogurt. Now, it's been sitting next to my dehydrator overnight because the dehydrator was going, and it was probably, I don't know, at about 105 degrees Fahrenheit. So this just helped kickstart the culturing process, and you can see here there's quite a few bubbles that have started to form up the sides of the yogurt, which is a good sign that it's starting to culture. And I've left it for quite a long while because I like the really sour, tangy flavour that you get from this. If you don't like that so much, just don't culture it for as long. So what I want to do now is just add some beautiful flavours to it. There's so many things you can do with this yogurt. You could do an extra couple of batches and do all sorts of different flavours in each one. Today I'm going to do mixed berries, but you could do anything like cinnamon and vanilla. You could do grated zest of lime and lime juice. You could have mango puree through there, passion fruit, and it's just a beautiful topping over any kind of raw dessert or cereal. Really, really nice to have first thing in the morning. Okay, so what I want to do now is just get some of these berries and that lovely juice inside the yogurt. Give it a bit of a stir. All important taste test. That's beautiful because I can still taste the coconut and that beautiful tangy flavour of the culture, and the sweetness of the berries are coming through as well, which is really lovely. So I might just actually plate this up really nicely now and put this into a little jar so it can be just a single serving for someone for breakfast.